Hey everybody, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. My name is Michael. I'm an actor here in Chicago, and I'm joined by
Zach. I'm also an actor here in Chicago. We're good buddies. We've been doing this reaction thing for a while now. We've gone through the StarCraft journey, the World of Warcraft journey. We saw an amazing Diablo 4 cinematic, and now we are branching into the massive world of Warhammer. And we're starting in what seems to be a very good place. We are going to take a look at every single Warhammer 40k faction explained by Bricky. Now, this is part one of his video, and we are going to split this into 3 parts for you guys. So this is going to be part 1 of our reaction to part 1. So it's a mouthful, but
yeah, it'll make sense. You'll see. There'll be 2 more after this, and then it'll all be good. So we're gonna jump in, and let's see what Bricky's take is. Let's check it out.
Apparently, he's a good dude. So
yeah.
As someone who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them, you will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about, to add a little bit more context and possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need 2 hands for this. This is every single Warhammer 40k race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, but mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of, but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weebs, and then there's these spiky bitches over here. I don't understand. Where do I start? Well, this
he pretty much captured that for me perfectly.
Or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about
that
each
looks,
of the different
the resemblance is
in
good job,
Warhammer.
Ricky.
So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in, and some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass electronics on them. You've got aliens, and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail that I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40k universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it, because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well, in case you were curious about that. But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man, because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore. What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place, is in the year 40,000, 41,000 AD. You're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote. First of many in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and
dark
slaughter
ages.
and the laughter of thirsting gods. Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction, or at least like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to be your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks. But that's like the charm of it. See, everything in Warhammer is evil. But being evil is kind of fun. Like, humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic, prejudice, and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. And they're like mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good.
What did it say about guy who brings food?
Everyone is
that what that said at the bottom?
Flavor, some color of peace. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool. They got cool outfits. They got cool weapons. They got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy, quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
His hair, whack. His gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under
his
this
Imperium
one
of
flag
Man pants.
called the
They're great
Imperium.
pants.
About 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor of mankind, a 10-foot-tall psychic demigod who led humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds,
at the rim, dude.
superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity to a new age. I don't think they have time for
basketball.
This man, the Emperor of mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40k, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory dimension of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that.
Sci-fi
the Emperor,
magic.
big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now, the Emperor created a bunch of sons. Yes, created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 20.
Okay.
18 Primarchs to have them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and planets to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos and leading 9 of the 18, half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you want to know what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier, the warp, that immaterium, the hellish place? In there relies the 4 Chaos gods. Imagine like Satan and 3 other Satans. The warp being kind of evil, those Chaos gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup.
That is a good way to create
on
chaos.
The Emperor on Earth. And
did you see the Astartes thing on the left?
After this big civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor and And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North Star.
$9.99 just ain't
If you
gonna
want to
cut
do
it.
interstellar travel in 40k, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way,
nice of
you need
him.
to go through that warp,
Especially seeing
and
as
then
how
you need
he's
to know where you're
barely
going,
alive,
go through there,
but
and pop
he's
your
alive
way out.
enough
It's
to,
like
like, guide you through
doing
the
nether
fucking
travel
universe,
in
like-
Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity.
That
You're so
explains the
boned.
motivation.
Now, since the
Yeah.
Horus Heresy
That's
2,000
really-
years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially.
It's really
all technology has
you
started
gotta make
to
sure that
dwindle
one thing
and die.
happens.
Yeah,
There is
like
now
so much
giant
energy put to, like,
fundamental religious
let's make sure this guy who is
changes that now
actively
believe the
dying
Emperor of
does not.
Mankind was
Who do you think's in
indeed
charge of
a
that?
true living God,
Hopefully
which is
someone
probably the
intelligent.
last thing the Emperor
Deciding, like,
would have
who
wanted to be
1,000
remembered
people it's gonna
for.
be today.
So now you have this thing called the ecclesiarchy, which is this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic gothic
some
tone to it and a
horrible
hefty
colonialism
religious
mentality
zealotry
is
to them.
to the
If you
max.
think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die in 40k. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but guess what? You're preaching that good word. So right now,
Oh,
everyone
man.
in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars.
You know, he said
If
it
you
was
are a
like the
heretic,
darkest
someone who doesn't believe in the
universe
Emperor,
ever created,
you are
and I'm
deserving of
starting
death.
to understand.
If
So-
you
so-
believe
so
in the
far.
Chaos
He's
Gods, you are also
making that
a heretic
fairly
and you
clear.
deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues and humanity expands, the Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
Pretty shit now, man.
Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard.
Over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium.
Now it's
and
in
in
a
a
tank.
world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun, the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire rate. It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40k universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women. 30,000 large armored tanks, 10,000
Yes.
artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower. They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic
Yeah.
with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them, and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen see a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachan jungle fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking, giant knife, Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple knife on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who have built their toes
just living
in
his life.
years.
That's how it
The
happens.
Mordian Iron Guard, who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle. And then, of course, the big one, the Cadians from Cadia. The biggest export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have at my command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard, 50 regiments including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40k. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent
in like a really
main
messed
Imperial
up
Guard
way,
type
but
of
yeah,
large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops, and gunships. Overall, they're pretty similar
really am
to how they
enjoying, like,
sound,
seeing the
although a little bit
tabletop
expensive
stuff.
to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
The Angels of
The Angels
Death.
of Death are up next. Space Marines are
Space
genetically
Marines.
I was like, what was that, Bricky?
They're given extra organs. Their skin tissue is toughened. Their bones are stronger. They're taller than the average person. They're pretty massive people. And these are the specialized
So they're like all
super
given the
soldiers
Captain America
that carry
serum,
out a lot of the more
essentially.
specific tasks for the Imperium. And there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's son, as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said
interesting.
Primarch.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
a
yeah.
gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has
That's
their own
nuts.
legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai Khan has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard, and there's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist on the average Space Marines.
That's
which
actually
we'll discuss
so
in a bit.
cool.
Yeah.
Interestingly
That's
enough, I don't have a whole
so
lot
cool.
to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Girlman.
Yeah, I'm remembering the Stardust video
are
that
the
we
main
watched
blue
where they're
boys,
just, like,
strong in almost every
whipping through
way. The
halls.
jack of all
Yes,
trades
yeah,
kind of
they
group
were.
that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem. But the White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes. We're talking land speeders. You want to go in quick. You want to hit them hard. You want them to be
Getting some
swarming
Mad
around
Max
like
vibes from this
buzzflies.
image here.
It's really something.
With the speed of buzzsaws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers, melta-guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning, that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives of themselves, which is actually rather rare.
Nice.
They're also all black.
Good old salamanders.
But not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes.
It's a really
apparently
cool
something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else is. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage while having bird helmets.
Sick.
Iron Hands, masters
Bird
of
helmets are
machines
cool.
and vehicles while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf. Space Wolves, Vikings and wolves and tons of wolves and axes, battle axes, fur everywhere. Space Wolves, angry, big teeth, Blood Angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy called the Red Thirst. They have Cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius. Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch.
The Oblivion music.
Nobody plays because Death Watch look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff. But those are the main ones right here. Here. Quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are my defenders of humanity. They are my Space Marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck. As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but
that's so
overall,
cool.
Space Marines just have the.
That's
it's
hilarious.
like a Swiss Army knife. A tool for anything you need, except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
All right. I think that's what we're going to jump into next time. We're going to learn more about the 2011 Honda Civic. Man, it's really cool to see like the different factions. And yeah, I think the Space Marines are kind of the coolest thing.
Oh, for sure. Like all the fact that there's a specific type of Marine for each type of Sun leader. That's so cool. Like I could really see devoting tons of different time to reading up on that and creating top 5 lists and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You know, I don't know a ton about the Warhammer universe, but I've heard that it's like a dark, awful place.
Yeah.
And then obviously Bricky even said that at the beginning of the video, and then to dive in more and just hear about it, it's just so dark and cruel. And it's like, all the we gotta sacrifice 1,000 souls a day to the Emperor. But also the fact that it's like we got to do that so we can space travel through like light speed to different places.
At what point does the value of a shitty life outweigh the value of just dying? Like I don't know. I'm as they're explaining just how dim and dark and horrible the world is.
You'd be murdered for being a heretic if
Right,
you even thought
right,
that in this
right.
universe. So,
Right. Just quick note, Bricky is so awesome. I think he does such a good job at like reiterating parts when it's like essential, and like he's really good at like including subtle reminders. Like this has been so easy to follow so far, which has made it that much more enjoyable for me.
yeah.
So far loving this, and
Let us know if there's anything about Space Marines or anything that you think Bricky might have left out or that we could know more about. We'd love to hear about that in the comment sections down below. We've loved that with the World of Warcraft videos, like the lore that we get to learn from your perspective. Love to hear about it. And make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos that we post coming up.
yeah, we'll see you guys in part 2.